Liz talk about this because that's really her name, her gift. Liz is the artist among us. So.
Marjorie Martinelli and I worked on the tools and charts that accompany the series K2. You'll find a pack of anchor chart post-its.
Wait a second, put the beautiful one up.
Each of these post-its correlates with a strategy that you'll teach inside of mainly your mini lessons, but also teaching shares and workshop interruptions. The teacher will peel this post-it off and place it on a large piece of chart paper that will hang in your classroom so that students can access simple, kid-friendly visuals that anchor all the teaching you're doing across each unit of study.
So just while we're talking, you can
Okay, so that's just like a very short overview of kind of how it's laid out. You know, you have the 4 units of study, but then if you notice there's a problem, you have that if-then curriculum. You also saw the sticky notes that they rave about, which are great because it's not you drawing the pictures. You literally teach the mini lesson, peel it off, stick it on your chart paper, and it's there forever. So, the format of Reader's Workshop, here's a great visual from Debbie Miller's Reading with Meaning book that I showed you earlier. This is from Samantha Bennett, and the reason why there's a fish and a hook there is she kind of relates it to a fisherman's way of fishing. So when you catch a fish, you're excited that it's on the line, but you can't leave it on there too long or else it's not going to survive. So you're trying to think of students and teaching them the mini lesson. You want it to be short and quick. If it's long and drawn out, you're going to lose them, just like the fish. So here's the mini lesson section. And then the rest of the time, most of it, your children are reading, writing, talking, conferring with you, either individually or in a small group. And then finally, at the end, you have this small little sliver to stop and share and kind of bring everything back in. So that's kind of the format of how the workshop will run. Here is a sample of the sticky note post-its that Lucy was talking about. So this is from the kindergarten set. It's Unit 1, which is the very first unit. We are readers. So this is at the beginning of the year when you have students coming in that are telling you, I can't read, and you know they can't, but they literally have no confidence. They might not be able to write their name. If they do, some letters are capital, some are lowercase. They might not know all of their letters, the letter sounds, but this is where you're starting. And these strategies are going to give them the tools to start to gain some of that confidence. So this is your title sticky. It says We Are Readers, and then you can see it breaks it down by which session you're going to be sticking up each sticky note. So in session 1, you do these 3 right away. We can look, we can think, we can read. And then the next day, or when you do session 2, you're going to do We Can Learn. This year I had a student who was one of those students that came in, couldn't really write his name, didn't really have much confidence, easily distracted. He took to these strategies so well, and there were times that I was reading with him and he would say to me, Miss Lokan, I just use the We Can Look strategy, or I'm going to use pointer power, or I use sound power, which come later in Unit 2. But I was just impressed. Not only was he using them, but he knew that he was using them. So I hope that you'll be able to see that in your classroom as well. This is jumping forward to the end of the year, or fast forwarding to the end of the year. Becoming avid readers is the last unit that you do. So this is kindergarten again. As you can see, these stickies are getting a little bit more in depth because now you have students that are reading. So they read a lot, they find places everywhere to read, they keep a stack of books and waiting, they can't stop reading, they really pay attention to the book. And these visual clues, you might get a chuckle out of them, but they will help this age of learners. And finally, we feel what the characters are feeling. So as they're reading, either individually or in pairs, I do a lot of paired reading. Do you do paired reading?
Yeah.
Okay. They're going to be talking about some of these things. You might hear kids talking about how the characters are feeling, which is great. Again, this is only from small sections of each unit. There are so many other strategies that the kids are going to use throughout the year. We're going to practice one right now. First, I'm going to show you kind of how it would go. So I'm going to do the feel what characters are feeling, and I'm going to use this book, which is called Last Stop on Market Street. And then I'm gonna have you guys try the same strategy with the book that you read before we started. So, you might start by sitting in front of your class and saying, today students, we're gonna try a new strategy that's gonna help us be a better reader. Sometimes when we're reading books, the characters, they have feelings. Their feelings might change throughout the book. So we wanna talk about that so we can really feel like we're in the story too, or understand why the characters are doing things that they're doing. So here's where I would take my sticky and stick it on my chart. Feel what the characters are feeling. What are the characters feeling? So, I'm not going to read the whole book right now for sake of time, but I'm going to flip to a page and implement this strategy. The bus lurched forward and stopped. Lurched forward and stopped. Nana hummed as she knit. How come we always got to go here after church, CJ said. Miguel and Colby never have to go nowhere. I feel sorry for those boys, she told him. They'll never get a chance to meet Bobo or the sunglass man. And I hear Trixie got herself a brand new hat. CJ stared out the window, feeling sorry for himself. He watched cars zip by on either side. Watch a group of boys hop curbs on bikes. So, just based off of the listening and the picture clues, let's talk about the characters. How do you think CJ's feeling right now?
CJ's feeling like he's missing out on things because he has to go somewhere when everybody else is outside having fun.
Right, he's thinking about his friends, he doesn't want to be stuck here.
I agree.
Kate, you agree? Kate, what about his Nana? What do you think she's feeling?
I think she's trying to get him to understand. She seems patient with him.
Yep, exactly, explaining why they have to be there. So that's just a very short little lesson on how you can implement that strategy. So before we started, I had you read Melia and Joe, and I want you guys to talk about, I want you to pretend like, you're in my class. I want you to tell me, feel what the characters are feeling. So what were the characters feeling? Tara, what about in the beginning?
I think Melia and Joe couldn't quite connect. They were pretty different. They both liked different things, and they didn't think that they could be friends because Joe was more artsy and Amelia just wanted to create and create. So I don't think that they really thought they could get along. But then...
Kate, you have to talk about that.
Towards the end of the story then, they realized how each other's strengths could benefit them together. And so by working together, they were able to accomplish their goals and have more fun and get more done. Joe improved her dancing and her singing by using some of Amelia's skills, and same for Amelia. By having Joe's open mind and different way of looking at things, she was able to create better inventions.
Perfect. So, you could stop, if you're using this as your mentor text to teach the students, you could stop at the beginning, talk about how they feel, stop in the middle, keep checking in, and that will show them how it can be an ongoing process, but you're still using that same strategy. So, nice job. We want to talk about diversity. So I have a lot of books up here that address diversity, and I'm not just talking about race, I'm talking about sexual orientation, or the way you dress, or what you might believe in, or what you fought for. So you guys read Melia and Joe, which was that lovely story about the two people who were not friends that became friends once they realized their differences could make a better team. We have this one, The Girl Who Thought in Pictures. And this is the story of Dr. Temple Grandin, which I'm sure you're familiar with. Let me just bring these up real quick. Last Up on Market Street addresses that idea of culture and coming from different economic backgrounds. One of my favorites, I Am Enough, which I read to my kindergarten students. They all actually got a copy this year, and they were able to read it themselves because there's a lot of repetition and patterns, and take one home. So, one of my favorites. We have Enough. This is about 20 protesters who changed America. So this is more of that nonfiction background genre, I mean. And we have All Are Welcome. Another story about welcoming everybody, no matter where they come from, what they look like, what they believe in. So this is something that's becoming actually a state law, that teachers integrate more diversity into their texts. And the reason why, there's a couple quotes up here about books acting like mirrors. Students are drawn to books that reflect themselves. And for so long, there were so many books written about Caucasian people, and that's not the only people in the classroom. So by bringing more of these texts or texts like these into the room, you're going to help those students feel connected and want to read. And this is a short clip about this book called Reading to Make a Difference. But I think I want to take the time to watch this.
This made Grace sad for 2 reasons.
Windows and Mirrors. Just real quick about mirror books and window books. I'm going to let them explain because
She didn't like Natalie, and she didn't have a daddy of her own. See, clear? Grace felt less and less like being the pink and floaty kind of princess. She couldn't imagine. I think Windows and Mirrors is a nice metaphor to explain the importance of students seeing themselves in text and then students learning about others through text. My teacher knows if your dad doesn't live with you. Yeah, me too. Text selection is really important, and I think when students can see just even the slightest connection, they're so excited.
Reach Academy has seen an increase in diversity. We're seeing students from all over the world. Many of our families have been impacted by trauma. We need high-quality teachers in Title I schools that really believe in our children and their capacity to learn and not just look through a deficit lens.
I've known I wanted to be a teacher since I was in 2nd grade. For me, I wanted to be that teacher who looked like my students, who understood the struggle of what it means to be a smart little black girl. When I was little, I loved to read. As I got older, I wanted to see myself reflected in stories because I started to become more aware of my own identity. So our question this morning is, what is your favorite book that we read this year and why?
The Flower's Beautiful Daughter, because it made me learn about new cultures. My favorite book is Crown because I can relate to it. Okay, from is it?
So many of our families, they feel invisible in this society. They haven't been seen. They haven't had a voice. And how do we ensure when they walk through the doors of Reach Academy that they feel like they are somebody, that they are important?
It's really important that students see themselves in all aspects of their classroom and feel valued and respected. And it's also really important to foster this understanding of others so that when they grow up, they're able to work with all different kinds of people.
We live in a world now where we have to build alliances across differences.
All right, you are going to get to create a character today. Somebody that you wish was in a story. So what is their hair like? Is it like yours or is it different than yours?
When I first came to this school, I didn't have any friends, and I want to make her just like me.
Okay, so maybe one of the reasons why I love teaching is watching those aha moments in students. Sometimes it's just watching them get excited about something. It's really heartening to see students who may be judged for so many things be these brilliant little people who are going to one day run the world.
I want this character to exist because I want a character to be like me because I'm smart and brilliant and awesome.
So you can just see how by implementing or integrating text like this into Lucy Calkins, because Lucy Calkins great comes with text to help you, but you can take a strategy and find it in another book and use another book to teach that strategy or to go over it if your students just aren't quite getting it. As far as technology, Lucy Calkins has that the whole online thing of tools that you can access, the sticky notes, printables, but just to go along with the technology, you can use Get Epic, Raz Kids, Storyline Online, which you already have access to. Excuse me one moment. As far as getting parents involved, this is a great video on what a school did to track and reward students. Not something you have to do, and I'm just going to show a little bit So I know we're short on time, but the students were struggling to complete books at home, so they kind of implemented finish a series and you get this little token. It's on a necklace that they have hanging in there. So it's something that motivates the kids because they want to have the necklace with all the tokens. But at home, they're coming home and reading books and finishing them so that they can gain more. So it kind of carries into that home piece.
We know that practice makes perfect. Our kids need to read every single night in order to get good. We start them out in first grade, but by 5th grade, they're hitting their targets and they're up to 2.5 years above grade level on the STAR reading assessment. We really found that a lot of our kids going home weren't finishing books. They were, reading one chapter or fake reading and not doing reading logs. So we as a staff decided that we would want all of our students to at least read one series. That's how we started.
We realized that we needed to make it more incentivized for the students, where they would want to read, where it became like a self-motivation thing. And our principal decided it needed to start young. And so we created these charm necklaces. And every time they finish a book series, they get a charm. And those things are like gold to them.
I really like to read. I would read 50 books a day if I had the time.
We know that when children finish an entire series written by the same author, that they get to love and know a character. And so we found that they increase comprehension, increase practice in reading, and don't waste time staring at a bookshelf.
When you see my class read, they're engaged in the book. You can see them be in the story, and that's really what we were going for. But then we were like,
So we're going to stop it right there. But this is also a great way to differentiate as well. There's different series for different levels. So it's not everybody has to go home and finish reading this book. It's you work towards your series, your level. So just an idea to get parents involved at home, but also we're open to other ideas as well. So moving forward, I want you to go home and dive into your Lucy Calkins Reader's Workshop. I know it's very wordy, but try to stick to the black headings and points because she does kind of give the basics. And then jot down any questions, concerns, problems you have and contact me. I'm always here, email, phone. We're going to be meeting before school starts just to see where you guys are, but then we'll reconvene throughout the year to check in. But I'm always available to chat. I'm always available, well, not always, but usually available to come in, and if you're feeling weary about something, to do a mini lesson or co-teach with you. So, any questions or thoughts wrapping up, or have you looked at the thing yet? Are you worried about how much is in Lucy's?
I like how you broke it down and with the different strategies that you even included in here. The necklaces I think I would like to take to my classroom. Maybe not for a whole series, but I use weekly reading logs, and then if they can complete those, every time they complete one, get a sticker added to something, or have it something, even like a Fruit Loop on a necklace, something that can be not too monetarily, it fits in, but.
I agree. I think this was something that the district paid for, but yeah, you're right. On your own classroom level, you could do a sticker chart or something, and maybe if you get 10 stickers, you earn something special.
Right.
There's definitely multiple ways to do it. I just want you guys to start thinking, because I know Lucy Calkins is a big umbrella, but we got to think about how are we going to teach the strategies, implement diversity, get the parents involved, get the students motivated, and make it what it is. Reading is super important. It's not just reading. We saw that it's used in math, science, everywhere. So we need to kind of change our attitude here and amp up what we're doing. So that was great.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks so much.